Hey, haircut, what's up? I got a haircut earlier today. I look weird. I think something's wrong with the haircut. I look weird. Uh, it's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm gonna do another album review on an album that I think is fantastic. That is released uh, in the decade in between 2010 and 2019, and it just so happens that this album was released in 2010, and that would be Beach House Teen Dream. So it's not my first Beach House album review. I have reviewed their album Seven about a year ago, a year and a half ago, and I thought it was okay, but it really isn't their best album. I think their best album is Teen Dream, and it's one of the best pop albums of the decade as well. So let's dive into it. Beach House is a dream pop duo from Baltimore, Maryland, USA, consisting of Victoria Legrand and Alex. They make some really accessible music. I mean, everybody who listens to their music likes their music on the first go. They're very accessible, but it doesn't mean they're bad. Actually, they're really, really good because they're usually very shimmery, sweet, catchy, and bright. I really love the mellow guitars, the very bright synths, and the vocals are very unique. They have a raspy quality to it, thus it feels a little old, but not necessarily age, more like matured, and it just gives off this really soothing, calming tone, which is really nice. And without further ado, I'm gonna start off talking about the album. The album opener is Zebra, which is a bit of an acoustic ballad opener, but it is just fantastic. It has some mellow guitars in the beginning, as well as some really beautiful, warm vocal harmonies. Some soft kick drums are introduced into the song, and then later on, the song develops into a very sweet and heartwarming ballad that is impeccably catchy, but more importantly, heartwarming, soul soothing. It's like a really warm, tender hug. And yeah, the synths during the courses are very dreamy and surreal. And overall, this is one of the most amazing album openers I have stumbled upon in the decade. We have the second track, Silver Soul, which is, I think, even better. We get some faint foresty samples in the background at first, but they're not really the star of the song here. The song has these very summery, laid back bass, which has a really nice tone to it, and somebody's outside my room. Anyway, the bass is really the star of the song because it's just really beautiful. It's just otherworldly. Listening to this song really transports you to the edge of the world, the corner of the world where the sun is high up in the sky yet super bright, and the sky is so blue with no clouds, and you're just enjoying the rest of your life. It's really beautiful. The vocals on this track is also super expressive and amazing. Probably the best off of the entire album. And the chorus is it is happening again, repeated over and over and over again. And some people say that it is a Twin Peaks reference, which I want to believe it is because that will be awesome. And overall, it's a very solid song. The structure is solid, the flow is solid, and it is an amazing track. We have the third track, Norway, with some icy keys and some empty drums in the beginning, which then develops into some springy guitars and shakers, which builds a pretty nice tone. And this track is pretty self-explanatory. Apparently, when Beach House was in Norway on a train, some random person just came up to them and asked them to write the song. Apparently. But according to an interview, you shouldn't take this track too literally. I mean, yeah, it's about Norway, but is it really about Norway though? Nonetheless, the chorus is really folky, very sweet, and the drum break towards the end of the track is such a fresh touch to the track. We have the fourth track, Walk in the Park, and it is stunning. It is a stunning song. This track has some nostalgic, righteous synths and bass, which is candy to the ears. Ear candy, that's the best way to describe this album. Ear candy. And this song is about losing someone you love. It's a really sad topic, but it's delivered in such a beautiful and life-affirming way. The chorus sounds extremely powerful, especially with these larger-than-life keyboards just cascading down, and it is fantastic. We have the track Used to Be, which is fantastic. And then we have the song Used to Be, which has some sweet, sugary pianos, and the melodies of the track is very folky as well, almost like Fleet Foxes, except Fleet Foxes weren't really that big back then, so I would like to think that Fleet Foxes has some of their influences from Beach House as well, and it's like early Fleet Foxes, like self-titled and even the Sunshine EP. Anyway, the melodies on this track, they are a little weird. They're kind of unusual for a pop song, but yet it really works out. They really managed to make these melodies catchy, and it's amazing. The instrumentals, in the end, they are jamming very smoothly, very naturally, with some faint vocals just floating on top, and it's just very beautiful. We have the track Lover of Mine afterwards, which has some dry drums and some cold, icy keyboards. I guess my main critique of this track is that the hook of the track is a little tedious, a little repetitive, not all that appealing to me. So I guess that's one critique of the song that kind of bogs my enjoyment of the track. The next track, though, it's pretty fantastic. It is called Better Times. We get some constant keyboard hits and a very romantic bass line, and during the chorus, the keys, they sort of change a little bit, but it just changes so naturally and so smoothly and so sweetly. It's amazing. 10 Mile Stereo, also a pretty great track. Actually, it's a very unique track on the album because it doesn't start off and end off the same way. It's a gradual track. There's a gradient in this track. The start of the track is pretty quiet. It's pretty low key. It has some nice finger-picked guitars, but later on, the bed of ambient noise underneath just swells, and the instrumentals swell as well, and it becomes this really powerful, bright song about love, meeting your lover. And it's fantastic. We have the second to last track on the album, Real Love, which is a pretty low-key emotional piano ballad, which actually sounds decent. It doesn't sound bad at all. It's just that the track doesn't really have much in terms of dynamic, but still the tone of the track is beautiful. And the album ends off with Take Care, which has some shimmery guitars and organ keyboards. Apparently they ripped it off of a Volkswagen commercial, but still, the melody of this song is very different than that of that commercial. I've watched it, because I did research on the album, and I must say this track is a really sweet and gratifying ending to the album, and it's a really solid ending to the album. And overall, the album is solid. It's very cohesive. Not much in terms of versatility, but that just makes the album even more cohesive because every single song is just as bright, shimmery, catchy, and sugar-coated. And again, a lot of the melodies, the hooks, and the choruses on this album are basically like ear candies. It's so sweet to the ear, and you just can't resist it. There are a lot of moments on this album that feel like a warm embrace as well, which is really nice. And overall, I don't have that many complaints about this album. It's one of my favorites of the decade. My favorite track here is That's actually kind of tough. I guess Silver Soul, but Zebra is also great. And my least favorite is Lover of Mine. I am giving Beach Houses Teen Dream a 9 out of 10. So, have you listened to this album from 1 to 10? How much did you rate it? Like, if you like it, hit you rate and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching. Tomorrow, I'll be doing like 7 more album reviews, so hang tight.